the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, topics, stipulations, first down, played it. Presenting topics from Kanye to Tom Brady. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. What a show we got for you today. It is postseason baseball underway. The New York Yankees, our New York Yankees, quest for hopefully 28 starts tonight. We'll talk about that. We'll be having Joe, not in studio, but we will still be getting Joe Aguirre joining us talking baseball. Postseason, yesterday's take, wild card as well. The Tampa Bay Rays, excellent job the other night. Also, we'll be joined by the big old Kanish talking college football. Another huge week. Ted's Gators, how serious are they against the Tigers of Auburn as well? And then, of course, you got the NFL. Talking New York Giants, New York Jets. What are they going to do with their franchise players? We'll talk about them. But let's start off with last night's game. What a game. What a game. What a performance by both quarterbacks. Here's my thing, and this is why last night proves that these teams, we're also going to be discussing, teams that have to take chances on their current quarterbacks and move on. Kind of like the Seattle Seahawks did a long time ago. We'll talk about that as well. But last night, everybody wants to talk about how great Russell Wilson is. But last night, I saw two of the best in the game last night. I saw Jared Goff play his heart out, play like a franchise quarterback last night. Almost 400 yards again. But Russell Wilson, being Russell Wilson, he is one of the most fascinating players I've ever seen in all of sports. The way that he continues each and every year to prove the doubters wrong. And me and you talk about it, Ted, and we talk about it with fantasy because it always comes up. I don't really want Russell Wilson because he doesn't have any weapons. But look what Russell Wilson has done so far again. 12 touchdowns. 1,200 yards passing. He's been lights out. They are 4-1 right now. He's been dominant. MVP level. And this is what Russell Wilson is. He's going into the Hall of Fame. He'll go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of our time. I'm not saying of all time. I'm saying of our time, our generation. So Russell Wilson, what he did last night, remarkable. But don't take away from Jared Goff what he did as well. Ted, what a game last night. And this is why I like the Thursday night games now. Because back then they were horrible. Now you got division games. It's been great. And last night was just another example of that.
Absolutely. I mean, what a great game by Russell Wilson. Great game by both teams. Rams should have won. We said it. You go, I bet you. I said, you go, I bet you Jared Goff leads him down and scores. And he did.
I wasn't wrong.
Listen, I was thinking about when you were doing the monologue, and I was talking to somebody. I said, honestly, this is, even though for me, I enjoy the summer personally, from my own standpoint, this has got to be one of the best times of the year in general. So you have Yankees right now in playoff baseball.
Well, it helps that your team's in the postseason too.
It helps. We got Giants football right now.
Playing well.
We have college football right now. We got basketball, which starts in about a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. And then last night and within the last 2 nights, we had hockey season started. So you have...
Our producer, Nate the Great, was not happy.
So you have all 4 of the major sports starting within this month. And we start to find out who are going to be the men and who are going to be the boys in the sense of football season. You know, we're going to get into the college football talk.
What did you say? October is where, like September, you get a brief preview, but then October is really...
You find out who the real teams are.
Exactly.
Now, what we've seen in the NFL is really, it's been a weird season so far. You know, we've seen a lot of injuries. We've known that from our own fantasy standpoint. We've had Big Ben and Roethlisberger.
Got 4 quarterbacks
Big
right
Ben
now
Roethlisberger got hurt for us. Andrew Brees was our starting quarterbacks. They got hurt in the same day. We picked up Josh Allen last week. A couple weeks ago on a trade, he got hurt. We had Matthew Stafford. He has an injury. We picked up Gardner Minshew up. Hold on. So your question was about last night's game. I made a statement last night. I said Russell Wilson right now is the best player in the NFL right now. And you said say that tomorrow on the show.
And I thought you, yeah, I'm glad you did say it because.
And I think the way he's playing right now, you have to consider him. If you want to put Mahomes in there, that's fine. If he's not 1A,
you seem like you're hesitant of putting Patrick Mahomes in that discussion.
It's not hesitant.
You kind of see
I
it.
understand what Mahomes is. He's a superior talent on the field, but he's also has one of the best offensive-minded coaches in the game, if not one of the best offensive-minded coaches of all time.
Okay.
He's also surrounded by a bundle of toys and talent around him. And when I look at what Russell Wilson is it's a guy that since he's been in the league, since he's been coming from North Carolina State, that graduated, that went to Wisconsin, that led them to a Rose Bowl victory over TCU. No, we lost.
They lost.
TCU. Excuse me. I apologize.
No, they lost to Oregon.
Was Oregon?
Yes.
It wasn't TCU?
Nope. Swear to God. I swear to God. I wouldn't lie to you. I got a good memory like that. I swear to God. It was the Oregon.
Beyond the point, he's always been doubted.
Yep.
Okay, 5'11", too small to play. Okay, they signed Matt Flynn from that one game from Green Bay, $40 million deal, and he beat Matt Flynn out. He was a third-round draft pick. And he's always been trying to prove people wrong. And
that's the thing that makes it fascinating.
And that's why I give him the credit, because I think he's got to be the most underrated player maybe in NFL history. Right now, he's one of the most most underrated player in the NFL. What he does for the Seattle Seahawks, there's no more Legion of Boom no more. Listen, you got Bobby Carpenter, okay? Wagner. I said it last night. I did it again. Bobby Wagner. I just saw him on Get Up, so that's why I had the name. But Bobby Wagner, yes, he's the best middle linebacker in the game. Okay,
one of the best players.
They traded for Clowney.
Jadeveon Clowney, yeah.
But he's never been what we thought he was. And the offensive line for Seattle has never been great. I looked at it last night. We had a poll question last year. At this time of the season, who has the worst
offensive line in the football?
The Giants or Seattle? That was our poll question, because both offensive lines last year. I watched them last night. The Rams are a real good team. They're special. But Russell Wilson does miraculous things on the field. He's an amazing talent. The way I look at it is, just look at the throw where he was rolling to his left, throws across his body, and hits Tyler Lockett in the corner of the end zone. Now, Tyler Lockett's not a 6'4" receiver. He's a small receiver, too.
The catch was
unbelievable. The ball is right there, and the catch
was unbelievable. My thing is, to add to your point, is about doubting Russell Wilson, which is fascinating that we still, at this current moment, up until maybe this season, we were still doubting it. Whether it's fantasy or whether it's football.
I doubted him.
Fantasy, you doubted him. But in real life, you don't, because of what he's done. It's fascinating that people still want to say, "Oh, he's not the best." Let's be honest, folks.
If there was
Mahomes,
take Mahomes out of the question.
If I had to put my top 3 quarterbacks right now, I would still have Brady, because of the factor that he is 42.
He wouldn't be number 1, though.
He would not be number 1.
He'd be number 3.
I would say Mahomes. Mahomes is Mahomes.
Wilson, Brady.
But if you don't have Russell Wilson in your top 3 quarterbacks, okay, if you want to put him 4 behind Rodgers, whatever, that's fine. If you don't have Russell Wilson in your top 5 quarterbacks right now in the current NFL league, shame on you, because Russell Wilson, each and every year, with the least amount of talent, maybe other than Tom Brady, to continuously dominate and be impressive and change the game too. He's also, we always talk about Michael Vick being that transcendent player, change the game like a Steph Curry. Russell Wilson also has done it, because look, now you have Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. But the great thing about Russell Wilson, even though he can run, he makes these plays, the throws.
Baker Mayfield too.
You
have to add into it. Because of his size. Because of his size.
The throws. I mean, he's an unbelievable thrower. He was 16 of 18 last night outside the pocket for 4 touchdowns. I mean, it's remarkable
incredible
what Russell Wilson has done. And it's fascinating that still there are some naysayers that want to doubt him.
Do you know? I wish I had the stat. I heard it last night. I think it was like over the last 2 or 3 seasons. You know who has the most touchdown passes? It's Russell Wilson.
Yeah, he had
I know
he had 35 2 years ago or last year. He's been. If somebody's watching this, I know our guy Steve Risser. Check it. Please give us our stats right there. I think Russell Wilson has had 35 touchdowns either last year or 2 years, or he's had over 30 touchdowns.
Listen, he's got no picks. I mean,
he led the league last. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. Mahomes.
And they give a second. It just shows.
No, Andrew Luck was second last year. Russell was third.
So Russell Wilson's still always there. But those guys are different talents. Russell Wilson's a 5'11" quarterback that some people would say How is this guy dominating the league?
I don't know. I was watching the game last night for my buddy's rehearsal dinner for his wedding, and I'm watching. I'm like, I mean, if you truly watched the game last night, you're just in a wow moment. You know, I'm wowed by Mahomes, but with Wilson, I said this before the show. Switch to quarterbacks, okay? Put Mahomes on Seattle. Seattle's still a great team, just like Russell Wilson.
Yes.
But my question is, I said, would Russell Wilson still be considered underrated if he was playing for the Chiefs with the talent that Mahomes has? See, we always want to knock Brady because he doesn't have the talent. See, I always say what makes Russell Wilson special is he doesn't have a good offensive line. Mahomes has one of the best offensive lines. Look it up. He only gets sacked
1.8 times
per game.
Yes, yeah.
Per game. It's incredible. So he doesn't get sacked, right? Then he has, now I know he's out right now, but he has Tyreek Hill. He has Travis Kelce. He had Kareem Hunt. Now he has LaShawn McCoy. He has Sammy Watkins. There's an abundance of talent offensively, and the way Andy Reid uses that talent in an offensive schematic way. Pete Carroll's a defensive-minded coach, okay? So, flip the script. Maybe Russell Wilson doesn't have to do as much, but what he does for the Seattle Seahawks, last night was in a wow moment. It's incredible.
Well, it's just a great game overall.
The MVP race right now is a Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and then it's everyone else. That's how I feel. We'll see how the rest of the season. But that was I'm going to end it on this. The Seattle Seahawks did what they needed to do last night. They held home field advantage. They needed to win at home last night, and they did. They are now 4-1, and the Rams are 3-2. The Rams will have Seattle later in the season in LA, which I expect the Rams will win at home. They did what they needed to do. And I said last night, if Seattle can get the number 1 seed, good luck. Because they are a different team at home.
We're going to give our power rankings.
And it's the same way I feel about the Saints.
Well, hold on.
I look at the Seattle and the Saints the same way. Those two teams in the NFC, when they have home field advantage, it's dominant. Seattle did what they needed to do, and they had to keep pace with teams like Green Bay, Dallas, and New Orleans.
Also, we're going to give our power rankings at the end of this segment. We'll give us our power rankings, how last night's game may have affected our power rankings.
The last thing I was going to say, and I apologize.
I thought you had a last thing.
I was just going to say, too, to end off.
He's always adding that.
I do.
He always
I should have added it before.
The extra cheese. He's always adding the
I always
extra
got to
cheese.
add a little extra grated cheese on it. Is the Rams have been Russell Wilson's kryptonite. He was 6-8 going into last night's game. The most losses against any opponent in his career, and that was the Rams.
Here's my last thing about last night's game. And Russell Wilson overall.
Here's my last thing about last night's game.
Tongue twister. Everybody doubted Russell Wilson when they had the Legion of Boom. Okay, fair enough. They had one of the best defenses in the league. It always helped when your defense was pressuring the quarterback, causing turnovers, and having big leads. Okay. Well, Legion of Boom, like Ted said, is gone now for a couple of years now. What's the excuse that we have to say about Russell Wilson? The man continuously, each and every year, each and every week, produces. And he continuously shows that anything is possible. He's 5'11", and he's taking over the league. And last night, you saw two of the best quarterbacks in the game go head-to-head, and two of the best teams in the NFL still. Let's be realistic. Greg Zuerlein makes that kick 9 out of 10 times. Matt Gay against the Giants makes that kick 9 out of 10 times. It's been a weird year for kickers, and last night, the Rams win. We're talking about how great they've been. And Seattle, it happens. It's a kryptonite. Unbelievable Russell Wilson. Let's move over to, speaking of quarterbacks, and why we've been talking, there's been this name, Kirk Cousins, that we were talking about, and it gets me going that the Seattle Seahawks a couple years ago, like Ted also mentioned, they took a chance on Russell Wilson. They drafted him in the 3rd round, but yet they signed a guy at Matt Flynn. Big contract at the time. Think about that. $40 million was a big contract. Now quarterbacks again.
Well, as a free agent contract, yeah.
That's a big contract.
Now Foles just got $87 million. Kirk Cousins got $83 million.
My
guaranteed.
point is that look at how quarterbacks have changed that as well. Matt Flynn was supposed to be the starter. He was going to be the quarterback of the future for the so-called Seahawks. Russell Wilson was just there. Russell Wilson beats out Matt Flynn, and we never hear from Matt Flynn again. They took a chance on a 3rd-string quarterback, a guy that did not know if he was going to pan out and be great because of his height and everything and all that. And look how they've been. Look at where Russell Wilson is. Look where the Seattle Seahawks is. So I ran through the league. Certain teams have quarterbacks that maybe it's time to move on from. And they got to take the chance. And another team is our New York Giants. A move that we didn't think was going to happen.
Not at this point.
Not at this point. Early on in the season, they had a guy in Hall of Famer of Eli Manning. They said it's time to move on. They put in Daniel Jones. They took the chance. It's worked so far, but yet you have to take that chance, and that's what the Seahawks did, and the Giants have. And done.
That's really how this segment kind of came up. We, every week we go through, what do we really want to talk about? And Trev brought up the thing: is it start a changing of a guard? Should some teams start thinking about? Because we said 2 weeks ago, we both felt, from our personal perspective, that the Giants were making too soon of a move. The whole way I felt was wait till after the bye week, right? You get the bye week plus the extra week of preparation, so he gets 2 weeks to prepare for the team. And and then everything you say. Listen, are the Giants really ready to play? Are they going to give?
How's he going to perform?
How is he going to perform? And the situation that's occurring in the Redskins, we didn't want that to happen. 2 weeks later, I come back to reality and realize that the Giants did make the right move.
They'd probably be 0-4 if they kept Eli.
Listen,
let's be realistic.
The Giants drafted him at 6, and they've put him in the right position. And now we look back that, it is about the future. It wasn't Eli, and Daniel Jones was the right choice. Now, Trev, you came up with a list of quarterbacks for this segment. Now,
I got
what
about
do we got?
7 quarterbacks that realistically they can move on. Teams can move on from. So the first one I said is Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings.
I think that's a highly debatable.
Ted, I want to give me a yes or no. Do the Vikings need to move on? Just a yes or no, and we could just talk about these quarterbacks as a whole. Yes or no to Kirk Cousins?
No, now because they don't have but they don't have anyone right now.
Okay,
so yes,
Bengals,
absolutely.
Jaguars. I'm already putting Nick Foles because first of all, you gave him an $80 million. I know it's unfortunate he got injured, but this is what Nick Foles is. We saw him when he went to the LA Rams. He's not a franchise quarterback. I know it's crazy, but guess what? It's fact. That's another big wasted contract. Nick Foles.
I say no. No, okay. Right now because he hasn't played yet for them.
Titans, Mariota.
I think yes. You got, and then when I say yes, I mean you got to move on from him.
He's the only quarterback with no turnovers so far.
No
turnovers. No turnovers at all. No picks. Nothing. Only quarterback.
Well, Mahomes has no picks and neither Russell Wilson.
But they have turnovers. Only quarterback, Marcus Mariota.
Whatever.
This could be the interesting one. The Panthers and Cam Newton. It's been hotly debated. It's been talked about a lot. Do the Panthers, yes or no?
I truthfully think yes. I think it's time. We've seen what Cam Newton is. Okay. Now, we can get into it more, but is Kyle out in the future of the Panthers? I don't know, but right now he's 3-0 as a starter when he's the quarterback. Okay. We've seen what Cam Newton is, and he's not going to get better, and he's had so many... Okay, we'll get back.
I'm going to just talk about... Okay.
I got you.
Broncos, Flacco.
Yes, I feel like that's the Eli Manning question 2 years ago.
And the last one, and I put question marks because he's still young. Bears and Trubisky.
I'll say no right now, but at the end of the season, let's come back to this question and I'll have a better answer.
Did you say yes to Foles or no?
No, do not move on to no.
No, yes. And then yes to Cousins.
So
would you say no to Cousins right now? Or yes?
I say you got to move on from Cousins, yes. Okay. The only people I said no was Foles and Trubisky. Everyone is a yes, and if I want to break it down.
My point is, I just went through the 7 quarterbacks.
Yes, sir.
5 you said yes.
Yes.
2 you said no.
Yes.
And it was only Jacksonville and the Bears.
And the reason why I say no to the Jacksonville Jaguars is because Nick Foles, you just signed him. $80 million.
But you just signed Kirk Cousins a couple of years ago, too.
He's in his second year.
A year.
Okay.
That's. I know it's only been a game that he played, Foles, and he got injured. But still, 80-something million to a guy that's...
Here's the thing. We've seen Kirk Cousins. Okay, we've seen him last year, and we've seen him this year. Kirk Cousins has the rest of the season.
We saw him in our division.
Now, do I think they should move on from him? Absolutely. Do they have anyone on the roster to kind of spill him right now? No, they have no one. The problem with the Vikings contract thing is, and I think this is the reason why NFL teams do not give guaranteed contracts, is because the Vikings are married to Kirk Cousins for the next 12 games this year and 16. They have no choice. You said why you can't cut him.
No, you can't. Okay, because his contract is ridiculous. It's going to be
and you can't trade him because who's trading for him?
Here's my thing about
and no one's trading for his contract.
The one team, the others is fine. The one team though that gets me going, and I'm curious about, is what if Minshew plays well and they're in playoff contention? Like, he hasn't done anything wrong to lose his job. Do you bring back Foles in week 11?
No.
So Foles is done.
No. You let Minshew play out.
They get to the playoffs. He plays the rest of the year. You're telling me that Nick Foles is a starting quarterback next year?
No. Next year, you have a quarterback competition. That's what you do.
That's what I'm saying.
But here's the thing. I think you have to look at it the same way you looked at the Eagles thing. Carson Wentz got hurt. Carson Wentz led them to the number 1 seed. Mm-hmm. Nick Foles won them the Super Bowl. Who was the quarterback going into the season? Carson Wentz. Because he was the future in the money.
Wentz was more talented. Wentz was the more talented quarterback, yes.
I don't know if the Jaguars yet believe Minshew is the future.
Just don't know yet.
They just gave $80 million to Nick Foles.
Is it kind of like the Linsanity thing when that was like a month period that was like, oh, Linsanity is the greatest thing in the NBA? Is it just like that, Minshew mania?
The reason why I brought this up was I said if Minshew leads them to a playoff, or listen, Foles comes back in week 11 and the Jaguars are 6-5. I think they go back to Foles. If they're 7-4. 8-3,
and they're in competition. You're going to tell me that Foles is. You're telling me Foles is.
I don't know if you pull him. I don't think.
Why would you? He's given you no reason to. So why would you do that?
He should have. They should have gave him the ball against Houston and that 2-point conversion.
Why should that?
He should be 3-0 as a quarterback.
Ted,
and if you look at the numbers against the Chiefs, when he came in, he was like 22 for 26 for over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You know, it shouldn't even be a debate. If they're 8-3, 7-4 at that point in Foles, and they're first in the division, and Foles comes back, it shouldn't even be a debate. Gardner Minshew should be the starting quarterback if that's the case. Now, if they're under 500 and underperforming, okay, that's understandable. They got a tough one against Carolina. It's a 50-50 game. But if he's playing well, you don't take out a guy like that. But all
keep the high hand. I know exactly
all these
what you're
teams, to just overall just talk about it, these 7 teams, look what Seattle did. Look what the Giants did. The Giants had a Hall of Fame quarterback. Didn't want to move on for him. They took the chance. The Seattle Seahawks paid a guy a big contract at the time, $40 million, in Matt Flynn. That was supposed to be the guy. They drafted a 3rd-round quarterback. They took a chance on him. It's panned out for the Seahawks. It so far has looked good for the Giants. Time will tell. These 7 teams should seriously start considering about their future. It's not about now, it's about their future. And these 7 teams have quarterback question marks. And what do they decide to do? And what I'm seeing right now, 5 of the 7, you said yes to. So that means that these teams need to make a move.
Now, the only quarterback in there that's really the question mark is the Cam one, really more so.
I'd say Trubisky because he's young. You just drafted him 2nd overall.
But Cam's talent, and people still look at Cam as an upper echelon.
I think Trubisky's a talented enough player that he could win. They have a great enough defense.
But is he a quarterback schematically that's good because of Nagy?
It could be. But he fits the system like Jared Goff. Everybody thought it was only because of the system. He fits the system. Cam, we know what Cam is. It's kind of like Cousins. He's gotten to his peak level. He's gotten to the peak level. He won an MVP. That's his peak. Like Matt Ryan. We know what Matt Ryan is. We know what Kirk Cousins is. You got to think this. We know what Cam Newton is.
His injuries have piled up.
They've reached their peak.
I know. And
that's
his
my point.
Have piled up. And his biggest thing is his athleticism. Okay, he's not.
But he can't keep running around because of these injuries.
Oh, that's what I was getting at. And he's never been an accurate quarterback. And that's what hurts him. And now that his mobility has kind of come back to, he's not the same quarterback as he was. Mm-hmm. And he, like you said, Trev, injuries piled up. He's not going to be running around the field doing what he used to do. So, have we seen the last of Cam Newton?
I don't know.
I think the biggest factor plays money. Money plays a factor. If the Vikings could cut Kirk Cousins, I think they would, but they can't because of the money.
I'm just saying, you've seen the Giants, Seahawks make decisions, tough decisions at the time. Make it. They pulled the trigger, and guess what? It's panned out for the Seahawks, and so far it's been good. These teams need to start seriously considering it. That's the least they have to do is consider it now.
Absolutely.
Because these teams are in the middle of that pack, but they need to look for the future. Not now. It's about the future. Speaking of the future, and speaking of the Giants, it's about the future of the Giants, right? It's about the future of the New York Jets, right?
Absolutely.
So why and I'm going to quote The Rock, why in the blue hell are you going to decide to bring back Saquon Barkley and Sam Darnold and rush these 2 young stars back when your future, it's about your future. It's not about now. Oh, well, we're in the playoff contention, Giant fans I've seen. Realistic, people. Be realistic with yourselves. That's what you have to be. The Giants are having a fun time right now. They're making us happy. They look pretty good so far. Competition hasn't been great, but still, they've been competitive. They've won. That's fine. But let's be realistic. This team's not going to the playoffs this year. This is a team a year or two away from a playoffs appearance. And if they do this year, amazing. Awesome. I'll be a happy fan. I won't complain. But right now, it's about the future. The Jets, they're in a tougher situation. They're 0-3. They look like they're going to be going maybe 0-6 with the next 3 games on the plate. So why bring back your franchise quarterback when you still have to play Philly this week, who is a nasty team, who gets after the quarterback?
Yes.
And then the Cowboys, we know how great they are. And they have to play a team called the New England Patriots, who's given up only about 6 points this year defensively. Historically good right now. So why bring back your 2 franchise cornerstone players?
Well, the difference with Darnold is it's not an injury.
He literally can die because of mono.
Yeah,
It's
because
that bad.
it's a spleen.
Yes, it's that he can literally,
takes a
his
hit.
life can be at risk, and you need to make sure he's 1,000%, not 100. Make sure Sam Darnold's 1,000%. Barkley just had a high ankle sprain 2 weeks ago. You were at the game. That's a serious injury. That's a 6 to 8.
Supposed to be 8 weeks.
It's a 6 to 8 week recovery time. He's going to possibly come back next week.
No need.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's pump the brakes.
That's an entry.
Saquon,
That's an entry.
that is no need. That is an NTG
Okay.
and no need. These guys do not need to. I know it would be great to have them back. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to have Barkley back.
It's a building
But
toward the
it's
future.
about the future. And you need your cornerstones to be 100%.
I know, and you said it. Like, what do you gain from Darnold coming back? Like,
Especially with the
so if you're a Jets fan, let's look at it from a Jets perspective. You're 0-3. The likelihood for you to make the playoffs right now is not good. The percentages,
It's like one. It's probably like
it's like less than 5%.
No, it's less than like
Whatever.
one,
It's probably less than 5, but who cares? It doesn't matter. The chances you're going to make the playoffs, especially with this roster, is 0. You have a lot of injuries on the offensive line. I was just reading about.
Yeah.
You don't have a number 1 receiver. Now, you got your tight end coming back off the suspension. You have Le'Veon Bell.
Your offensive line's atrocious.
They're all-
You have a bad offensive line. That's another thing that's very scary
Their
for them.
defense has injuries and hasn't been consistent. They've overpaid for Tremaine Johnson.
Yep.
They traded for him. Has not. I don't even think he starts no more. Swear to God, I was reading the paper last week.
I don't know.
You have. We talked about this in the beginning of the season. We were doing preview. So you got 2 cornerstone pieces at the D line position that you drafted.
Quinnen and
Quinn
Leonard.
and Leonard Williams. Okay. You have a middle linebacker,
CJ
Mosley.
Who's
You
out.
paid big. He's hurt. But
Jamal Adams, who is-
and Jamal Adams, who is one of the best safeties in football, young safeties, and might be one of the best players in the future
Yeah.
in the NFL defensively. So your system is set up for the future. It's not about 2019. It's about 2020, 2021.
Exactly.
Okay. What is Darnold going to gain from starting behind that awful offensive line and getting his rear end kicked in every week? Nothing. So what the Jets need to do is take their lumps, get another top 5 draft pick. Hopefully, listen, there's a couple good stud receivers from Alabama coming out in the draft. There's a couple of good.
Well, offense. It's about.
there's a-
What do we always say?
I know.
Build from the inside out.
I know.
You need offensive line. You have
Protect
a franchise
Darnold.
quarterback. He has
Need weapons, too.
He has a health issue right now, a very serious health issue. He needs protection.
Now-
I know the weapons are nice, but you need protections inside out. Please, why do teams can? And you're like these teams.
I know, hold on, we'll get into.
You're
it.
like the teams.
No, we'll get into it. But we don't know where the draft is yet, and we're not going to get into that because I don't think there's a top offensive lineman in the top 5. So you got to figure out where you're at, okay?
And they're going to be in the top.
Now let me segment over to the Giants. Let me transfer to the Giants. Giants are 2-2. They won the last 2 games without Saquon Barkley. Got a tough game this week. Home against Minnesota. I know Minnesota's a different team when they're on the road. This Minnesota team, I predicted to make the playoffs. This team is one of the most talented teams in football. It is. You got Diggs and Thielen on the outside. You have Irv Smith Jr. they drafted from Alabama. They have Kyle Rudolph. They have a decent offensive line.
I forgot if
I did. Okay.
Okay.
You have a really good defense. You said it last week. They kept them in that. They kept.
I mean, the game was 16-6, so it's not like the Bears destroyed him. It was just that the quarterback play was pretty bad. The defensive play played both teams.
The Vikings are a much better team than the Giants this week. They got a really good defense. Okay. Then the Giants 3 or 4 days later are going to play the New England Patriots next Thursday night.
Historical, great defense right now.
Right now, What are the Giants going to gain from Saquon Barkley? They're probably not going to win either games. I think this week is the better possibility of winning the game.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But what are the Giants going to gain from starting Saquon Barkley? Listen, folks, this is the future. Saquon Barkley is one of the most talented players in all of football. It's not even a question mark. He gifted. He's like Mahomes talent-wise as a running back.
Yeah.
Okay? You gain nothing. Mm-hmm. This is all about 2020 and 2021. You have a good offensive line right now. Let's keep building the cohesiveness with Wayne Gallman and the other guys, okay? Mm-hmm. We got a young quarterback in Daniel Jones. Let him take his lumps. Let him learn. When he gets Saquon Barkley back, he's going to be a better quarterback. Mm-hmm. You got Golden Tate coming back this week, okay? You got Sterling Shepard. We have Evan Ingram. We got a defense that's rebuilding. If this team can build toward next year, right? This is all about next year.
I said this is about a year or two.
You get a couple pieces defensively next year. Mm-hmm. You're going to have Barkley. You're going to have Tate. You have Shepard. You got Ingram. Daniel Jones is going to get the reps. This is a team next year that you could say, all right, maybe this team is 9-7 next year and can make a playoff run. But right now, this team is. You look at the NFC. They're not a playoff team.
You got to be realistic with yourselves.
And you gain nothing by starting Saquon Barkley. He needs to sit for the next 4 weeks minimum.
Yeah, 3 to 4 weeks.
He doesn't play the next 2 games easily. He's going to have...
Realistically, he's going to play, and it's going to be a terrible decision.
Now, here's the thing. He's going to have the Thursday night game, which he's not going to play, so he'll have the extra days of rest. If you want to bring him back the following week, but I don't even play him that many reps. I think as a preseason game,
just get him going again. Get the blood going again.
Listen, he gets hurt, breaks his leg or ankle thing.
Knock on wood.
Every Giant fan is going to freak out.
We don't. Trev, we'll be seeing Giant pages. All the fans that want him to come back like this, and then he gets injured. He's like, "Why did you bring him back?" We got to be realistic, fans. Got to be realistic.
I'm going to steal this from your thing the other day, and I was like, "What did you mean by this?" And you wrote Golden State and the Giants.
Yeah, he called me. He didn't know what he meant. I was like, "Does anybody know what happened with Golden State this year?" Kevin Durant came back from an injury, and then ruptured his Achilles. And now he's not playing. He wasted. Now his one entire season of his career is gone because he came back. I know he wanted to play, and that's the competitor in him. That's the competitor in Barkley. He's going to want to come back. I know that. But look at the Golden State Warriors. That's what happened. They brought Durant back. You know what else happened. The rest is history. That's why the Giants need to, like you said, Ted, 3 to 4 weeks. You can consider bringing him back and not putting him in and give him the ball 25 to 30 times. I'm talking about just get the blood going again. We need this man for the future. The Jets need Sam Darnold for the future. It's not about 2019. It's not about week 4 or week 5 against the Vikings or Patriots or the Eagles or Cowboys. It's about 2021, 2022, 2023. That's what's going to happen. That's what it's about. So these teams need to be smart. The 2 New York teams need to be smart. Plain and simple. That's it. My final take on this Giants talk is we're going to get a real good test of how good Danny Dimes is. Because this Minnesota Viking team, I know is a bad team, is not great offensively right now. But we know how great this defense is. They cause turnovers. They blitz you. They're going to make you uncomfortable. This is a true test going forward for Daniel Jones of how good he can actually be. The Vikings, like I said, and I've been saying all day week, this is a tricky matchup for the Giants and the Vikings because everybody, it seems like, is leaning towards the Giants. But would not be surprised if the Minnesota Vikings came into MetLife, Kirk Cousins throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the Vikings win by 2 touchdowns. It seems like that. They got all they have all the problems. It's in the locker room. Everybody's picking each other, going at each other. The receivers are upset with Cousins. The team is upset. It's all very uncomfortable right now in Minnesota. I would not be surprised if the Vikings come in and win. Because everybody is like, oh, the Giants, they're hot right now. Daniel Jones looks great. We're going to get a true test come Sunday at 1 o'clock, just how good Daniel Jones will be for the rest of the year, playing against a formidable defense. Not a good team, but a formidable defense. A defense that does all the right things. They pressure you. They turn the ball over. Secondary does a hell of a job. And that's Mike. And I give credit to Mike Zimmer on that because he is a great defensive-minded coach. But this week is a telling sign for Daniel Jones going into 2019 and the rest of the year. And 2020 as well. I think this is one of the major games for Daniel Jones in his early career.
I think this whole week in itself.
The next 2 weeks.
The Sunday game and then the Thursday game. I really want to see, because we played Tampa Bay, and they're not a great defense, but they won the game.
They did.
And then last week against the Redskins, and
We know what Washington
we're not
is.
even talking.
We
about
know what
it. I'm not
Washington
going to
is.
waste my time this week talking bad teams.
Thank God.
Okay,
We always do.
but this is going to be a real test for the Giants. This you're going to face one of the better defenses in the Vikings. That's been a top 5 to 10 defense the last 3 to 4 years since Mike Zimmer's been the coach. And then you're going to face the best defense right now in football. Now, the Patriots really haven't played anyone either, but that's not their fault. They take care of business and they dominate. So, hey, listen, let's build.
That's all. That's what it's about for the New York Jets and New York Giants. My final thing, worry about the future, not week 5 or week 6. You want your stars to be healthy. You want your quarterback to be healthy and your running back. You think about the
Plus,
future.
the schedule
Be smart,
is
New
going
York.
to get easier after these next 2 days. You're going to
smart.
play the Jets. You're going to play Arizona. The schedule is going to be a little bit more favorable in the following weeks. That's when you can bring back Barkley, when it'll be a little bit easier and he can run wild.
Final thing of the NFL talk is our power rankings. And last night we may have changed our rankings. So Ted, I'm going to start. If you haven't, I'm going to start it up. So number 10 for me. They lost last week, but I was very impressed by them. Detroit Lions.
Can we go back and forth? Just
You want?
yes, if you don't mind.
Breaking news, Donald. Good. He's out. I'm
Okay,
glad he's
so
not
that-
playing.
so-
That's good. I'm waiting for breaking
the-
news.
so
So,
the break-
number 10 for me, Detroit Lions.
So that is breaking news. If you haven't heard, we're just seeing it across the screens above us.
I'm
Sam
just gonna do 10
Darnold
through 1.
I know Sam Darnold will not be playing against the Eagles this week. That's
now I'm waiting for the
breaking
Giants to say Barkley is ruled out. That's
Smart
what I'm
move.
waiting.
Smart
Yes,
decision.
That's what it's about. Future. Number 10, Lions. Number 9.
number 10.
I'm gonna go. Let me just go. I'll just go straight through.
All right.
Number 9 is the Chicago Bears. Number 8. Yeah. Number 8, I'm going to finally put them in because they're one of the 3 undefeated teams remaining. San Francisco 49ers. They haven't played, so I got to take it. I got to put them in. I'm going to put number 7. I'm going to put the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 6, the Green Bay Packers. Number 5, the LA Rams. Oh, no, I got to put Dallas. I got to put Dallas in there still. I forgot about Dallas.
Did you not write your 10 in?
No.
I did.
Go ahead, write it up.
Jesus.
I just did 10 through 5.
I did the 10s, and I literally just wrote it up in my head, and it just changed. So number 10, I had the same thing as you, bud. I had the Detroit Lions. I'm impressed.
I like
What I saw last week was a team that's progressing. Matthew Stafford is great. He's playing lights out. Matt Patricia's got that defense playing really good. They should have beat Arizona. They should have been 3-0, and they had a chance to beat
Changed
the
my
Chiefs
pick.
last
The
week.
Eagles are out.
So
I got the Packers in. The Packers are my team.
So I got the Lions at 10.
Yep.
At 9, I originally had the Bills, but I just switched it to the Bears.
Okay.
Okay. So
Number 8.
Number 8, I have the Packers.
Okay.
Number 7, I have the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Number 6, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Number 5, I have the Seattle Seahawks. Number 4, I have the Saints. Number 3, I have the Los Angeles Rams.
Wait, you have the Rams after our 2-game losing streak?
Yes, because I still think they're the better team. Still think they're
So
the
my
better.
top
Hold
five-
on.
Oh.
The Rams 3, please. Number 2.
Rams, please.
Rams, please.
Rams, check, please.
Check, please. 2 Chiefs and 1
Yeah,
Patriots.
the 2-1, I think we
But
understand
as you
those.
notice, after the first 2, the next 8 teams are all NFC teams I have.
NFC stacked.
I have the Rams, Saints, Seahawks, Cowboys, Eagles, Packers, Bears, Lions. And the reasons why I don't have the Bills is because as good as their defense is, I don't think their quarterback is better than any of the quarterbacks I have listed here in the top 8. And the reason why I don't have the 49ers is I haven't seen them play Monday Night Football yet. If they win this week, that would all change next week.
So my 5 through 1, I just did 10 through 6. My 5 through 1 is the Rams at 5, 4 is the Seahawks, 3 is the Saints, 2 is the Chiefs, and 1 is the Patriots.
I still like the Rams.
the
I
Saints.
still like the Rams.
I like the Saints because it's kind of like the Seahawks thing argument. You get home field, and they got the head-to-head matchup win over Seattle too as well. Don't forget that. That helps. The Saints beat the Seattle 2 week in Seattle.
Yeah.
So they have the head-to-head now. If the Saints get home field advantage and they continue to play great, even with Teddy Bridgewater, without Breeze, and Breeze comes back and they're like 8-1, 9-1, it's a scary out right there.
And that's the thing with the NFC, the Saints and the Seahawks home field advantage is so much more important to those 2 teams than any other teams. I don't look at the Cowboys home field advantage as a must. I don't. Green Bay, no. It's not. This is not the old Lambeau Field. Michael Vick killed that curse a long time ago when he went up there in the snow and beat them. Okay, and then so did Eli Manning.
Eli did it twice.
So did Eli Manning in cold weathers. So
there's our top 10.
That's not the same. And then the Eagles, I don't look at home field advantage for the Eagles.
Okay.
But the Saints in Seattle.
And even LA, nah. LA doesn't have
The Saints in
So
Seattle is a whole different ball game.
And MetLife Stadium.
Yeah, right.
All right, final thing. It's been so far 4 weeks. Mahomes and Russell Wilson right now MVP.
I'm going to take Russell.
I'm going to go Mahomes. I think those have been the two best quarterbacks all year. I mean, Lamar Jackson Lamar Jackson's got to be in the discussion as well. Christian McCaffrey would be the only non-quarterback in my top 6 or 7 players.
The only reason why I say Russell Wilson, and I'll end it on this, is because I think he does more with less.
Okay.
So I'm going to give credit.
Mahomes is on pace to shatter every record in the book. Passing yards, who knows the touchdowns. He's on record to shatter every record. He's unbelievable. He's a different talent. Unlike anything we've ever seen. Ladies and gentlemen, we're taking a break. When we come back, he's not in studio, but we will still be joined by the great Joe Aguirre to talk some New York Yankee baseball. The quest for 28 starts tonight, hopefully. Postseason talk yesterday, Braves, Acuna, what happened with that? Teammates calling him out. And the Rays, shockingly, beat the Oakland Athletics. We'll talk about that all with Joseph Aguirre in a few. Keys to the City. We'll be right back, folks.